Can I help you, ma'am?
I think so. Are you Mr. Huntsman?
I am.
You sent me a letter a few weeks ago telling me my father had died.
Oh, Miss Barron, come inside, please. Have a seat.
Thank you.
Would you like a drink?
No, thank you. I just have a few questions for you. You see, to be honest, it took me by surprise when I received your letter. First, I haven't seen my father since I was 3. And second, if he died 50 years ago, why am I just hearing about it now?
We didn't find him until a couple months ago, and we had to make sure it was him.
What happened?
Well, it's one doozy of a story.
I have time.
All right, but first, Miss Barron, you have to understand something. I've been on the force for 25 years, and I've only been recently made the head of our cold case department. And in all of that time, I have never come across a case like this before.
What do you mean?
Well, for starters, I need to tell you about Miss Emily.
Who's Miss Emily?
Miss Emily was, in her younger years, the most eligible bachelorette in her hometown. But her father was extremely old-fashioned. None of the men who wanted to date her ever got very far. He was known for literally chasing them off with a whip or whatever was in reach. Unfortunately, after he passed, that's when your father was contracted to repave the roads in her hometown.
Well, I feel sorry for her, but I fail to see how this is relevant to my father's death.
The thing is, Miss Barron, well, after your father got the job, he was apparently romantically involved with Miss Emily.
I figured as much.
Come again?
Well, when my father first went missing, my mother started searching for him, and early on in her search she found out that he had a very steady diet of mistresses. She stopped looking after that.
And what about you?
Well, when I was older, she told me about it, and I just felt that if I looked, I wouldn't like what I'd find.
I see. Is that why you were so surprised by the letter I sent you?
Yes, but, please continue. No need to hear my sob story.
Well, they weren't lovers at first, but they became so. When your father first arrived in town, he needed a place to stay, but the local motel was full of other workers. Miss Emily offered one of her spare rooms.
They put a married man with an attractive younger woman? Smart.
Well, she had 2 cousins living with her at the time. And to be honest, your father never wore his wedding ring, nor told anyone that he was married. No one thought it was inappropriate. First, well, it was shortly after that that she kicked her 2 cousins out. The city thought it was their job to protect Miss Emily's honor in place of her late father, so they offered to find him new lodging, which he, or rather I should say they, refused. Of course, that's when the rumors started. You know, it's a small town. When he wasn't working on the sidewalks, he was spending time with her. And everyone assumed they were going to get married until the work finished. And then he up and left. Needless to say, she was heartbroken.
Seems my mother wasn't the only one he did that to.
I guess not. Everyone thought she was going to kill herself. Especially when she did what she did a week after your father left.
What did she do?
She made an odd purchase.
Mr. Anterbringer,
Oh,
I want some poison.
Miss Emily. Well, what kind? I'm just closing up right now. Can it wait until morning?
No, I want some poison.
Oh, what's the problem? You have rats? I recommend...
I want the best you have. I don't care what kind.
Oh, well, I have regular vermin killer, arsenic, cyanide. Well, those will kill anything up to an elephant. But what you want...
Arsenic. Is that a good one?
It is arsenic. Well, but what you want...
I want arsenic.
I suppose, Miss Emily, but the law requires you to tell me what you're going to use it for. Just a moment. That must be a darn nasty rat problem if it can't wait until morning.
Keep the change.
That's when they thought she killed herself. But a month later, the neighbors saw your father enter through the back door. Word got around quickly, and everyone was actually relieved. But no one ever saw him again.
What happened?
Well, this gentleman, Sam, told me about a strange incident when he was a boy regarding Miss Emily. It was only a couple weeks after your father had turned up again. Apparently the neighbors had some complaints about Miss Emily.
Complaints? Like what?
A stench.
You were saying?
As if any man, could keep a kitchen properly.
Exactly. I went to visit my sister for a month down in Georgia, and when I came back, the kitchen was so messy you'd have thought a pack of hunting dogs had gone buck wild on a deer in there.
It wasn't that bad.
Oh, yes, it was. God, his angels, and my sister as my witness, it was.
Your point, ma'am?
All I'm saying is that butler of hers is not a professional cook. Since poor Miss Emily's father passed, she had to let all her servants go. She only keeps Toby because he's so good at following orders.
And since the poor dear was abandoned by that slimy scoundrel of a contractor, she's probably worked herself into such a fit that... Why, I bet she's just like your sister when her husband died. You know how she lost her mind and started using the guest room as a lavatory? And how she started walking around naked?
To the point, woman.
Yes, please.
All I'm trying to say is that it's entirely possible poor Miss Emily's gone crazier than a cuckoo clock, and that poor butler ain't got no way of properly helping her. You should find a way to get her into one of them, what do you call them? The sanatoriums. I think it'd be for her own good.
On what grounds? The fact that she wants to be left alone and she smells bad? I can't do that.
Well, there's got to be something we can do. Maybe we can send some people down to help her clean up.
No, we already tried that. Poor Miss Emily was so sick with grief she couldn't even come to the door. Toby said she didn't even want any company, even if they were there to help.
Then serve her a notice, like a foreclosure. Tell her that if she doesn't clean up her property by a certain date, then... and if she doesn't...
Damn it, sir. You want me to tell a woman to her face she smells bad?
What about that new gentleman? The one that just set up market just outside of town?
What about it?
Well, just the other day I heard him say that he had 2 crates too many of lemons, and that if he couldn't cover their cost, it would put him in a bind.
Now what does that have
No,
to
that's
do
a
with...
great idea. I used to make him and his brothers bathe themselves in lemon juice every time they came back from hunting. You know, I think certain smells run in the family, like
Are you saying that lemon juice can get rid of that smell?
Uh-huh. Better than TNT gets rid of beavers.
Well, that's just perfect. We can help out 2 of our community members in one go. I'll go buy the 2 crates of lemons if someone will get some members of the community to help me do the deed.
All right. You go get the lemons. You find a couple of men to go help them spread it around the property.
But what's been causing the smell?
Probably just a snake or a rat that her butler killed.
Or a skunk. You know, one time one of those varmints done sprayed him so bad.
That's enough, dear. That's enough. Sam? Sam?
Yes, sir?
Let's go before your mother says something that I can't recover from.
Did they ever find out what that smell was?
No, they did not. Miss Emily just wanted to be left alone, and so they were polite and waited. A couple weeks later, it passed.
Why did they think that she'd lost her mind?
Well, think about it. The only two men ever to care for her in her life all left within 6 months of each other. Her father died, and the only man she's ever loved left her.
Yeah, I guess that would do it.
And since no one saw your father again, they assumed he just came to break it off. The next time anyone saw Miss Emily, it was 45 years later.
Well, where'd she go?
Nowhere.
What?
She never left her house that entire time. The only other signs of life was Toby, the butler. He could be seen working in the yard or getting groceries. You know, I only found 2 people in that entire county who have ever spoken or seen Miss Emily in all that time. Sam, I mentioned him earlier, said that his visit wasn't a pleasant one.
Seen such a dust box?
Hey, mind your manners. It's only a little old lady and her older manservant that's been looking after this place for the last 50 years.
Oh, looks like somebody's been slacking.
Knock it off and show some respect for your elders.
I don't understand why the mayor doesn't get the judge to send her to a retirement home.
You want to kick an old lady out of her house?
Well, no, but...
We're only here... Look, Williams, this community has a long and proud history of looking after its less fortunate members, no matter how messy they are.
Why don't they, I don't know, hire a maid to come in and clean the place up?
Already tried that. She doesn't like outsiders.
Well, what about some of the neighbors in the area? I'm sure some of the ladies would love to come in and help.
Tried that too. She just wants to be left alone.
Well, then what about...
We're only here to talk to her about the taxes she owes.
Well, whatever happened to helping the poor?
We're doing our part. We just have to love our neighbors without being too nosy.
What do you two want?
We're here in behalf of the city of Jefferson, Miss Emily. Didn't you get the notice from the sheriff letting you know
I
we're coming?
received a piece of paper, and I guess he considers himself the sheriff. I have no taxes in Jefferson.
But Miss Emily...
I have no taxes in Jefferson. Colonel Sartoris explained it to me. If one of you could get into the county records, perhaps you could figure it out for yourself.
Well, our books don't say anything.
I have no taxes in Jefferson. Toby! Show these two out.
We're sorry for the inconvenience.
Well, Samuel, please understand, I want no more intrusions upon my privacy.
Of course. Have a good day.
So what do we do now? Go and see Colonel Sartoris?
I think not, unless you have a bouquet to offer him.
Excuse me?
Well, isn't that the proper thing to do when you visit a grave?
You mean to tell me that he's...
Yes, 30 years ago.
And why didn't you tell her that?
She didn't let me.
Then why don't we go and tell her
She
now?
wants to be left alone.
You mean to tell me that you're just going to let her sit in there thinking that?
I'll talk to the city council. You did your job. You don't have to worry about some little old mayor.
And that's apparently the last time anyone saw her, at least into a funeral.
Well, what about the butler?
The butler, he disappeared. A few days after Miss Emily's death, he let the neighbors in so they could get the house ready for the funeral. and then walked out of the back door. I finally found him in Georgia. But by then he was dead too. He was at least 15 years older than his mistress.
Well, could that old man have had anything to do with...
I don't think so. From what I could tell, he knew something, but I doubt he was physically capable of doing anything to your father.
What a sad life. But what does this have to do with my father's death?
The sheriff helped me get into her house to look around. Miss Barron, remember when I told you in the letter that your father passed away shortly after he disappeared, right?
Yes, I do. Please stop stalling.
I'm sorry, it's just these. These are my personal notes the day the sheriff let me in to look around. It's so bizarre I don't know if you should read it, or whether or not I should read it to you.
Just give it here. I'll read it.
Alright.
The sheriff told me that seeing as how Miss Emily was decently in the ground, and since her cousins didn't care about the old house, he let me in to look around. The room looked as if it had been prepared for a wedding, complete with wine and fancy clothes. When I saw him, I just stood there for a long time, silent and confounded. The empty pillow next to him still had a dent from where Miss Emily had rested her head for all those years, complete with some of her steel gray hairs.
I'm sorry, Miss Barron.